Hi guys, so we are going to be reading A Sound of Thunder, and when we're reading A Sound of Thunder, we're also going to be working on the graphic organizer. Now, I am not going to go back to the graphic organizer in this reading. This is simply a reading, and that way that you can have the audio when you need to read it at home. I will also be doing this in two parts because my videos can only be 15 minutes long. So please follow along as we read, and keep in mind that you're looking for parts of the hero's journey. Here we go. A Sound of Thunder. The sign on the wall seemed to be moving under a thin film of warm water. Eccles closed his eyes for a moment. The sign burned in his memory. Time Safari Inc. Safaris to any year in the past. You name the animal, we take you there, you shoot it. Warm liquid gathered in Eccles' throat. He swallowed and pushed it down. The muscles around his mouth formed a smile as he put his hand slowly out upon the air. In that hand he waved a check for $10,000 to the man behind the desk. Don't I get some kind of document promising that I will come back alive? We promise nothing, said the official, except the dinosaurs. He turned. This is Mr. Travis, your safari leader in the past. He'll tell you what and where to shoot. If he says no shooting, no shooting. If you don't do as he says, you will have to pay another $10,000 plus face possible government action on your return. Eccles looked quickly across the large office. Hundreds of wires snaking together so as to look like a single mass gave off a low, continuous sound. Metal boxes gave off ever-changing bands of light, now orange, now silver, now blue. There was a sound like a huge fire, burning all of time, all of the years and all the calendars, all the hours piled high and set on fire. Unbelievable, Eccles breathed, the lights from the machine on his thin face. A real time machine. He shook his head. Makes you think if the election had gone badly yesterday, I might be here now running away from the results. Thank God Keith won. He'll make a fine president of the United States. Yes, said the man behind the desk, we're lucky. If Deutscher had gotten in, we'd have the worst kind of government. There's a man who is for war, but against everything else. Against religion, against helping people, and against people knowing too much. People called us up, joking, but not joking. They said if Deutscher became president, they wanted to go and live in 1492. Of course, it's not our business to sell escapes, but to run safaris. Anyway, Keith is president now. All you got to worry about is shooting my dinosaur. Eccles finished it for him. A Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king of dinosaurs, the most amazing monster in history. Sign this form saying that if anything happens to you, we're not responsible. Those dinosaurs are hungry. Eccles' face turned red. Are you trying to scare me? He said angrily. To be honest, yes. We don't want anyone going who will get scared and do something silly at the first sign of danger. 6 safari guides were killed last year, and 12 hunters. We're here to give you the most exciting experience a real hunter ever asked for. Taking you back 60 million years to shoot the biggest game in all of time. Your personal check's still here. Tear it up. Mr. Eccles looked at the check. There was a small movement of his fingers. Good luck, said the man behind the desk. Mr. Travis, he's all yours. They moved silently across the room, taking their guns with them, toward the machine, toward the silver metal and the roaring light. First a day, and then a night, and then a day, and then a night, and then it was day, night, a week, a month, a year, 10 years. A.D. 2055, A.D. 2019, 1999, 1957, gone. The machine roared. They put on their oxygen helmets and tested the radios. Eccles moved from side to side on the soft seat, his face white, his mouth closed tightly. He felt his arms shaking and looked down and found his hands tight on the new rifle. There were 4 other men in the machine, Travis, the safari leader, his assistant, L'Esperance, and 2 other hunters, Billings and Kramer. They sat looking at each other as the years flew by around them. Can these guns kill a dinosaur with one shot? Eccles felt his mouth saying. If you hit them right, said Travis on the helmet radio. Some dinosaurs have 2 brains, one in the head, another far down the backbone. We stay away from those. That's too dangerous. Put your first 2 shots into the eyes if you can. They will blind them and go back into the brain. The machine screamed. Time was a film run backwards. Suns went quickly by, and 10 million moons went by after them. Think, said Eccles. Every hunter that ever lived would love to be us today. This makes Africa seem like Illinois. The machine slowed. Its scream fell to a whisper. The machine stopped. The sun stopped in the sky. The fog that had been around the machine blew away. They were in an old time, a very old time indeed. 3 hunters and 2 safari guides with their blue metal guns across their knees. The first human isn't born yet, said Travis. The pyramids are still in the earth waiting to be cut out and built. Remember that. Alexander, Caesar, Napoleon, Hitler, none of them exists. Outside, Travis pointed, is the jungle of 60,002,055 years before President Key. He indicated a metal path that went off into the distance, over a streaming swamp among giant trees and plants. And that, he said, is the path laid by Time Safari for your use. It doesn't touch so much as 1 piece of grass flower. It's made of a special metal that floats 6 inches above the earth. This is to keep you from touching this world of the past in any way. Stay on the path. Don't go off it. I repeat, don't go off for any reason. If you fall off, it will cost you a lot of money. And don't shoot any animal we don't okay. Why? Asked Eccles. The machine sat in the ancient jungle. Distant bird cries blew on a wind. There was a smell of wet grass and an old salt sea. There were huge flowers on the trees, the color of blood. We don't want to change the future. We don't have a place here in the past. The government doesn't like us here. We have to pay a lot of money to certain people to be able to be here. Running a time machine, a difficult business. Not knowing it, we might kill an important animal, a small bird, an insect, a flower even. Doing that could destroy an important link in a growing species. I don't understand, said Eccles. All right, Travis continued. Say you accidentally step on 1 mouse here and it dies. That means all the future families of this one particular mouse are destroyed, right? Right. And all the families of the families of the families of that one mouse, with a single step, you kill first 1, then 10, then 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000 possible mice. So they're dead, said Eccles. So what? So what? Answered Travis a little angrily. Well, what about the foxes that'll need those mice to survive? For want of 10 mice, a fox dies. For want of 10 foxes, a lion dies. For want of a lion, all manner of insects, birds, countless billions of life forms are destroyed. Then, 59 million years later, a caveman, one of only 12 in the whole world, goes hunting wild animals for food. But you, friend, have stepped on all the animals in that region by stepping on 1 single mouse, so the caveman does not have enough food and dies. And that caveman, please note, is not just any man. No, he is a future nation. He would have 10 sons, and they would have 100 sons, and so on, to create a whole race. Destroy this one man, and you destroy a nation and the part of our history that goes with it. The step of your foot on 1 mouse could start a series of events, the effects of which could shake our earth and future down through time. With the death of that one caveman, 1 billion others will die before they are born. Perhaps Rome never rises on its 7 hills. Perhaps Europe is forever a dark forest, and only Asia rises, healthy and full of people. Step on a mouse, and you could pull down the pyramids. Step on a mouse, and you could leave your mark like a Grand Canyon across all of time. Queen Elizabeth might not ever be born. There might never be a United States. So be careful. Stay on the path. Never step off. I see, said Eccles. Then it wouldn't pay for us even to touch the grass? Correct. Destroying certain plants could have an effect too small to be seen now, but it could add up bit by bit over 60 million years into a major change. Of course, all this may be wrong. Maybe time can't be changed by us. Or maybe it can be changed, only in little ways that no one will notice. A dead mouse here could mean too many insects there. But a huge increase in insect populations millions of years later, crops destroyed over wide areas, millions dead from not having enough food, and finally changes in the social structure of whole countries. Or it could take something even smaller, a soft breath, a whisper, a hair, pollen on the air, such a slight change that unless you looked close, you wouldn't see it. Who knows? Who really can say he knows? We don't know. We're guessing. But until we do know for certain whether our messing around in time can make a big difference to history, we're being careful. The machine, this path, your clothing and bodies were sterilized, as you know, before the journey. We wear these oxygen helmets so we can't introduce our bacteria into the ancient air. How do we know which animals to shoot? They're marked with red paint, said Travis. Today, before our journey, we sent L'Esperance back with the machine. He came to this time and followed certain animals, studying them. Right, said L'Esperance. I followed them through their whole lives, noting which of them lives longest. Very few. How many times they have young? Not often. Life's short. When I find one that's going to die by accident, such as when a tree falls on him, I note the exact hour, minute, and second. I shoot a paint bomb. It leaves a red mark on his side. We can't miss it. Then I plan our journey into the past so that when we meet the monster, not more than 2 minutes before, he would have died anyway. This way, we kill only animals with no future, that are never going to have young again. You see how careful we are? But if you come back this morning in time, said Eccles excitedly, you must have met us. Our safari. How did it turn out? Was it successful? Did all of us get through alive? Travis and L'Esperance gave each other a look. That would be a paradox, said L'Esperance. Time doesn't permit that sort of thing. A man meeting himself. When such things look like happening, time moves out of the way, like an airplane hitting an air pocket. You felt the machine jump just before we stopped. That was us, passing ourselves on the way back to the future. We saw nothing. There's no way of telling if this safari was a success, if we got our monster, or whether all of us, meaning you, Mr. Eccles, got out alive. Eccles smiled weakly. Enough, said Travis sharply. Everyone on his feet. They were ready to leave the machine. The jungle was high, and the jungle was broad, and the jungle was the whole world forever and ever. Sounds like music and sounds like flying tents filled the sky. Those were pterodactyls flying high above with huge gray wings. Eccles, standing on the narrow path, pointed his rifle at one playfully. Stop that, said Travis. Don't even point your gun at something for fun, you fool. If your gun should go off... Eccles looked angry. Where's our Tyrannosaurus? L'Esperance checked his watch. In front of us. We'll meet him in 60 seconds. Look for the red paint. Don't shoot till we give the word. Stay on the path. Stay on the path. They moved forward in the wind of morning. Strange, said Eccles quietly. In 60 million years, election day over, Keith made president, everyone celebrating. And here we are, 1,000,000 years lost, and they don't exist. The things we worried about for months, a lifetime, not even born or thought of yet. Safety catches off, everyone, ordered Travis. You, first shot, Eccles. Second, Billings. Third, Kramer. I've hunted tiger, wild pig, buffalo, elephant, but now this is it, said Eccles. I'm shaking like a kid. Ah, said Travis. Everyone stopped. Travis raised his hand. There, he said, in the mist. There he is. There's His Royal Majesty now. The jungle was wide and full of sounds. Suddenly it all stopped, as if someone had shut a door. Silence. A sound of thunder. Out of the mist, 100 yards away, came Tyrannosaurus Rex. It, whispered Eccles, shh! It came on great, oiled, powerful legs. It towered 30 feet above half the trees, a great, evil god holding its small arms close to its oily chest. Each lower leg was like a powerful machine, 1,000 pounds of white bone sunk in thick ropes of muscle covered in rock-like skin. Each upper leg was a ton of meat and bone as strong as steel. From the great chest to 2 tiny arms hung out front. Arms with hands which might pick up and examine men like toys as a snake-like neck made itself ready to eat them. I'm going to pause there, and you can go to part 2 for the rest of the story.